All right. Well, welcome everybody. My name is Emmanuel Aguilar. Your boy E, or you can just call me E if you want. Let me introduce myself a little bit. I started here at Porch on May 7th, 2019. I live here in Leon, Guanajuato. My birthday is September 17th, so it was just like, yeah, it was like last week. And I am a sales trainer for the branded inspection team. I also handle customer complaints, and I am a Foundations for Success coach as well. And I'll tell you a little more about that in a little bit. So let me tell you about me. I was born in Leon, Guanajuato, and I was about 4 years old. My parents took me to the U.S. You know, they took me to a different country, and it was brand new to me. That's where, well, that's where I learned English. I remember in kindergarten, everybody was teaching me the vowels, and in some way, I believe that's where kind of where my social anxiety started. But I'm the youngest in my family. I have a wonderful daughter. Her name is Zoe Nevea. If you spell Nevea backwards, it actually spells out heaven. I have two dogs. I'll show you some photos of my family and my dogs in a little bit. They're a Bull Terrier mix. One of them is Rocco, and the other one is Santo. And I'm pretty much a straightforward person. I love music. I listen to music all the time. There's a few top artists for me, like Soulja Boy, Eminem, Snoop Dogg, Kendrick Lamar, 21 Savage, and a lot more. And besides people calling me E, another nickname that I do have is Eman. So feel free to call me that. Now, a little bit about my porch journey. I'm going to talk to you about the tip of the iceberg, but I'm also going to talk to you about beneath that, right? Like all the struggles and failures that I had to go through. You know, Porch is the first place where I started working at home. I got here in Mexico about like 7 years ago, and I've had a dream where I was going to be working at home, but I really never believed it because it just didn't seem like it was going to be me. You know, especially since when I first got here to Mexico, I don't know if anybody felt like this before, but you know, at one point I felt like I was picking up the wrong remote and just clicking the wrong button, right? I wanted to turn on the lights, but the garage door opens instead. So what I mean by that is I was looking for a lot of jobs. Not a lot, but looking for the right one. That's what I mean to say. I was looking for the right one, and getting used to the call center. About 4 years being in Mexico, yeah, I started to hear about jobs where you can work at home. And then I finally, back in 2019, yeah, I went for it. Back then in 2019, it was definitely a rough time. That's when I lost my mother, and I just wanted to, you know, try something different. I really I needed a change in my life, and one of my best friends referred me to Porch, and I first originally signed up for customer service, but I went for a interview for sales. I went for an interview for sales, but I dropped that ball. I didn't make it, but I remembered I signed up for customer service first, and that's where I got into Porch. That was my first, you know, that's where I got my foot in the door. And I started off like anybody, I would say. I started on the phones. I didn't know anything about home improvement. It was really new to me, so sometimes I would go on YouTube and just see what's it all about, right? And people would call me, and I would help with handyman projects. You know, I would help set up the appointment. Would ask me questions like, "Hey, how much is it for a TV?" It took me a few months to understand that there's a lot of things when it comes to improving a house, and I didn't know anything about that. I thought all you do is just call somebody and they'll take care of it. So I was doing that for about 8 months, and around at the 8 months, I started thinking to myself that I'm ready. I'm ready for a change. So just like in the movie Rocky, where he started preparing himself, he started running up that hill, right? I started reading books. I started networking myself to people who had gone through my struggles, right? I started to understand them and then share what I wanted to improve. So yeah, I prepared for positions. I saw an open position for a team lead, and I went for it. From there, that's where I started to gain a lot of my confidence. And I was a team lead for about 8 months, and you might see a little pattern here. I was a team leader for 8 months. 3 months I was top team lead, and it was really just because I got to meet a lot of people who reminded me of my ambition, and I really wanted to help them out because, well, that's how I was raised. My mom always raised me to be a people's person, right? Don't belittle people, and yeah, it was awesome because ever since I started working at a call center and I saw somebody giving feedback to others to help them out, I was like, wow, I'm gonna do that someday. And that was my mindset when I came here to Porch. I wanted to be a QA, but I understood that I needed to learn the foundations of being a leader. Sometimes we have to break chains from the way I was raised. I had to break a few chains that we get programmed. It's all programmized in your mind, right? So sometimes we got to change, right? And that all starts with us. So about 8 months later, I saw a position open up for QA, and I thought to myself, I need to go for it, but next time when I see it. And the next time I saw the position open, I went for the QA position, and that was my main goal. I was always just trying to find a way where, how can I better myself to get to that spot, right? And really, it took me some time to understand that I need to have a work balance, right? It's not all about life is not all about work, right? But it's also about improving yourself, making sure you make time for your family. That really hit me in the head, right? So I realized that I needed to make changes, and I went for the position and I got it. And I was a QA for about 1.5 years. And during that time, I had a class called Foundations for Success, and I wanted to get confidence out of the class, out of the course, and that's what I got. I met a lot of people that I could relate with, and I learned that if you just be yourself, you can go ahead and reach your dreams. And it was awesome. I reached my goal. It was I've always thought about where I wanted to be, and I realized I got there, and I didn't stop from there. It reminded me of the times where I did fail. I failed an interview for being a manager, but I realized that things happen for a reason, and if you just keep pushing to where you want to go, you'll reach it, right? So that's the tip of the iceberg. During that time, I realized that I needed to change a few things about how I was raised, and starting this year, 2022, I became a sales trainer. I got the opportunity to become a sales trainer, and I realized that I could do a lot more by inspiring others, right? Inspiring those who first join our department. I want to let them know that, hey, when they say the sky's the limit, I don't really believe that. You can go ahead, you can go above and beyond. And that's a little bit about my Porch journey. I've been about a trainer for about, I'd say about a good 4 months. And awesome. And some final last words I want to say is believe in yourself and others will believe in you. What that means to me is that, we need to practice. I would recommend you practicing self-care. Invest in your relationships, invest to make time, see other people's point of view, read a book, take time to take a break from all the exhausting tasks that we have to do every day, right? And you'll see a difference. I can guarantee you that. And thank you. Thanks for hearing me out.